Hello and welcome, and thank you for joining us for part one of our 6-part educational program, Global Healing Approaches for Enhancing Your Immune System Capabilities, brought to you in partnership by Know We Well, thedoctor.com, and the Celiac Society of India. In this important 6-part series, we look at the most critical aspects of the immune system and how we can tap into ancient, integrative, mainstream, and cutting-edge practices to make it efficient and enhance its ability to handle day-to-day stresses and disease. In this series, we explore a regenerative whole health approach from top experts around the globe who will help you transform your body's ability to handle disease and give you realistic approaches to protecting yourself and your family. I'm Jane Lynn Britton, and I'm the Director of People Experiences at Know We Well. Before we get started, I'd like to explain how you can use the webinar platform to optimize your viewing today. If you're using a small device, you may need to tap on the screen to see the boxes and resources available to you. For those of you using a large device, you will see boxes arranged around your screen, and you can move them around based on your viewing preference. If you experience any technical difficulties, please click on that small yellow box with a question mark on it to help you troubleshoot. Also, if you did not log in using either Chrome or Firefox, I invite you to log out and log back in using the same webinar login, but using Chrome or Firefox, because that will minimize most technical issues. On your screen, you see a slide box and a media player where you see your presenters. In the resource box, you may download 3 top recipes for a healthy immune system from our experts. There's a Q&A box, and you may send us your questions and comments, and we will answer as many as we can at the end of our time together today. And now I would like to introduce you to our experts. Dr. Tom O'Brien. Dr. Tom is an internationally recognized expert and speaker focused on food sensitivities, environmental toxins, and the development of autoimmune diseases. He's a chiropractic doctor, a certified clinical nutritionist, a diplomat of the American Clinical Board of Nutrition, a teacher, book author, and founder of thedoctor.com. And he is the Chief Health Officer at Know We Well. Dr. Medea Saeed is Know We Well's Director of Education. She's a functional and integrative medicine physician targeting inflammation and chronic illness in all ages. She is a motivational speaker, an Amazon best-selling author, and the creator of the Holistic Kids Show, for kids on a mission to empower and educate kids from the inside out. And Yogi Jayadavan is an experienced spiritual master from Kerala, India, and is a renowned teacher and the sole founder of Darshan Yoga, the integral yoga discipline for spiritual enlightenment. He has undergone intensive spiritual yoga practice under many renowned spiritual teachers across India. And he has studied yoga therapy and how it's applied to individuals with psychophysiological disorders and diseases. Today's program will be moderated by Ms. Mala Sekri. Ms. Sekri has been rated as one of the 50 most influential women in media for 2 years in a row and is one of the most prominent names in the Indian media and entertainment circuits. She was host of a popular TV show and has been moderator and anchor for many group events and programs, interviewing celebrities like Dr. Deepak Chopra, Dr. Jeffrey Life, Vishal Dadlani, and more. You can learn more about our experts in the box on your screen called Today's Educational Program. That is also where you will find information and website links for our organizations, Know We Well, thedoctor.com, and the Celiac Society of India. And now it is my pleasure to turn it over to your moderator, Miss Mala Sakri.
Thank you, Jane Lynn, and good evening, good morning, good afternoon, wherever you are. If there's one word that has stuck out in the last 18 months from TV reports, newspapers, social conversation, it is immunity, immune system, immune response, immune this, and immune that. This has never been as top of mind as now, and anyone you talk to is talking of building a strong immunity. Let's never fall sick seems to be the goal. Let's never see a doctor is the new mantra. Dining table conversations have switched from gossip to health. Forget the latest scandals. It's literally a life and death situation out there. Survival of the fittest, in its true sense, is here. However, seemingly fit people have caught COVID, and some have unfortunately seen severe disease, hospitalization, and even death. Treadmill runners, morning walkers, gym enthusiasts, trekkers, young, old, everyone, but everyone is flummoxed as to how we can keep this and every disease at bay. How can we fight this and other such silent enemies now and in the future? The key seems to be a solution that everyone is trying to decode. Building a robust immune system has never been more important or more relevant. Where people were talking fashion, travel, clothes, and food, today people are talking diet, exercise, supplements, and food, healthy food. There is a lot of information out there. Some would even call it TMI, too much information. This has left people confused. Every time someone gives a new mantra, a new tip, you tend to believe and follow. Which is why us, which is why today, which is why we thought of decoding the jargon, bringing you the most credible, authentic voices from across the globe to help you build and navigate your own lifestyle and a defense system that is strong and robust and reliable. Our stars today are our doctors and health practitioners. Let's turn to them to help us, to guide us. And hopefully, if you're a part of this series from start to finish in the next 6 weeks, you would have got the tools to fight, adapt, adopt some of these suggestions to your own life to live a beautifully long quality of life. Our lives have never been more stressful. On top of the complicated, competitive lives that most of us lead, we've endured 18 months of isolation, fear, anxiety, and so much more. So straight away, let's begin by calming the mind. Let's begin by calming down a bit and to be able to take in what follows in a very relaxed manner. Yogi Ji, who's joined us from Kerala, will guide us for a 2-minute meditation that you can perhaps incorporate and learn and also put it in your daily routine. Yogi Ji, we'd be honored and privileged if you could guide the audience and all of us in a 2-minute meditation. Thank you.
Namaste. I request everybody to ready to prepare ourselves to undergo a 2 minutes meditation, very quick review. Let us sit in a comfortable sitting posture, keeping our whole trunk, neck and head in a straight position. Feel the whole body from the feet to head, from the feet to hip, from the hip to shoulder, from both hands to shoulder, the neck and head. Observe our own breathing as we are in a stable, comfortable sitting posture. Observe our breathing movement happening in our body in terms of expansion, retraction. Let us feel it, 2-3 breathing movement. We are only observing it's happening. From there, feel the touch of air inside the nostril. While inhaling, the cool air is getting sucked in. While exhaling, hot air is getting exhaled. Just be with that incoming and outgoing breath. Let us make a Om chanting a universal sound in a vibratory mode. Om. Like a bell sound. Om. Remain in that silence. Namaste. Let us open our eyes and let us begin our program. Namaste.
Thank you, Yogi Ji. Thank you so much for that. And I hope everyone is relaxed and easy. And we have our stars today to tell us how to lead our lives healthfully and without anxiety. So straight away, and this question to start off with Dr. Tom O'Brien. For those of you who don't know, though he's a regular on our programs, Dr. O'Brien is currently in Costa Rica. So it's very early morning for him. Good morning, Tom. Tom, can you hear me?
Thank you. Can
you hear me?
I can hear you. Yes. Can you hear me now?
Yes. Yes.
Can you hear me?
So
okay, good. Thank
yes.
you.
So good morning, Tom. We're going to start this off with you with something really basic. And to me, and while this may seem easy for you, immune, how can you make this simple for us? Just tell us what this whole immune system is all about.
Yes, thank you. And good day, everyone. And if you recall, when we began this morning, we had some technical difficulties. It took a few minutes before we could begin. Unexpected problems came up. That's what happens when you begin working on your health. Unexpected obstacles come up. It's okay. It's okay. As long as you are on the journey, you'll do fine. So let's talk about what the immune system is. The immune system is the armed forces in your body. It's the Army, the Navy, the Coast Guard. It's the armed forces that's there to protect you. The immune system is designed to be working all the time. Our bodies are always being exposed to bacteria, viruses, mold, fungus, bugs. It's normal to have your immune system be active. And we're very grateful to have our immune system be active. The problem is when your immune system is very active all the time, eventually it becomes tired, it becomes weakened, and then it cannot address the threats that come in on a daily basis successfully. So we're going to talk about what are some of the threats, how do we minimize some of the threats that we can, and support our immune system in staying strong.
Thank you, Madiha. Would you like to add to this and explain the relationship between the gut and how to build a strong immune response?
Absolutely. Thank you so much for having me. This is so exciting. Well, humans encounter bacteria, fungi, viruses, in our everyday normal routine. And so, but then despite even being contact with these harmful pathogens and all of these things, our immune system is on guard all the time. And it's sort of like your Peace Corps. And it's a complex network of like these cells and proteins designed to differentiate friend versus foe. So what is friend? What is enemy? And there's lots of different parts and pieces, But what's really, really powerful, and this is what I really wanted to, really get out there, was that our immune system is constantly regenerating itself. Every 10 seconds, there's 1 million new white blood cells, 20 million red blood cells, and 30 million new platelets from our bone marrow. And so every 10 seconds, we're constantly regenerating our immune system. So we have a lot in our plate that we can do, including optimizing our gut bacteria, which is how we're like in our gut, we have the house of your immune system, including stress management, sleep, social, spiritual, mental, emotional, lowering the toxins are in our environment. So there's so much we can do. And I just wanted I know there's one thing I know that we think this immune system is just, maybe it's just passed down through our genes. Oh, my parents were always constantly sick, so I can get constantly sick. But now we know that through the studies of even epigenetics, even these diseases are things that we can control. And epigenetics is a study of the change of our gene function without the physical mutation of the DNA structure. So we can control our genes. So just because मेरे माँ बाप को ये हुआ था, मुझे भी ये होगा. That's not the case. So just because my parents have diabetes doesn't mean I do. So it's not just the immune system, it's all how the immune system plays to prevent these acute conditions, just like what we're dealing with now, and even these chronic conditions, including diabetes and all of these diseases. So it really comes down to our lifestyles and our environment to, switch those genes on and off and to optimize our immune system.
So, Maria, I have a question on that, because every time you go and see a doctor such yourself and you're evaluated, the first question they ask you is, did your mother have diabetes? Did your father have heart disease? Did they have cancer? So there's a whole family history. What percentage of family history, what percentage plays a role in your general well-being as opposed to lifestyle?
Probably, like 10% at most, like 10%, even less sometimes. But there is so much that we can do, because what happens is that, we think, oh, it's just in my family. But now science has proven that the human genome is made out of only 1%, like that 1% only actually codes for genes. The rest of the 99% don't even code for genes. So this DNA, that 99% is known as junk DNA. And they have shown that the science has actually proven that is where the information resides that tells the genes how they're going to be expressed and determining when and where the genes are turned off, and all depending on our lifestyle. So our lifestyle goes a lot more, a long way to turn these genes on and off. And, but they're the same thing. So it influences all of these chronic conditions, but also then our immune system, because again, we can regenerate our immune system every 10 seconds. It's so powerful. So there's so much that we can do. And that's what I wanted to let everybody know, that there's so much in our hands that we can do right now to really optimize our immune system.
Thank you. So Tom, so if my mother had breast cancer, I need not be worried?
If you pull at a chain, the chain always breaks at the weakest link. It's at one end, the middle, the other end. Wherever the weak link is, that's where the chain's going to break. Your genes that come from your mother and your father determine where the weak link is. So if the chain is going to break, if it's going to break at the weak link. That's your genetic vulnerability. So the way to live our lives is don't pull on the chain so hard. And when you learn how you are pulling on the chain in your life, with your diet, with your exercise or no exercise, with your home environment, with the stress that you have, As you learn the things that are pulling on your chain and you begin to reduce some of those, your immune system stays stronger and it protects you and the chain does not break. So yes, genes have a role to play in what disease we are vulnerable to, but the science tells us somewhere about 70% or more of the time, the genes will not determine the disease. What happens to you with those weak links determine if you get a disease.
Okay, so just related to that, so one is genes, and we've understood that you can't pull too hard on that chain. So I've got heart disease, I've got high blood pressure, I've got diabetes, not me, but as an example, I'm overweight. Is there no reverse gear? Am I done for? Is my immune system completely compromised? I cannot do anything to reverse this. Tom, would you like to take that first? And then Madhya, you could perhaps add to that.
That's a very, very good question. And the answer is there are so many things that you can do. Yes, it's possible. The science uses the word arrest. You can arrest the development of diabetes. You can arrest the progression of your high blood pressure where it gets worse. You can arrest the weak link in your chain that's starting to break. Yes, you can. When you change the lifestyle, as Dr. Saeed said, every 10 seconds, there are millions of new cells. So what kind of cells are we making? Are we making stronger cells or are we making weaker cells? When you eat more fruits and vegetables, you make stronger cells because you're changing the environment inside your body.
Madhya, would you like to add to that?
Yeah, no, absolutely. Because, so what normally happens is that these cells in your immune cell, where do they come? Their story sort of starts in the bone marrow. And the bone marrow produces these immune cells and these red blood cells that are all naive cells, and they don't really have, a personality or a job. And these naive cells, what they do is they move when they're birthed, they basically move into the lymphatic system, they circulate throughout the body. But when they come out of of the bone marrow, they're converted then into these specialized members of the immune system that is based on the environment that the person is in. So they sort of wait around, and when they're called upon, then they sort of convert themselves into whatever the body needs or the environment they are in. So just like what Dr. Tom says, that, if they come out in an environment that is lack of sleep, increased stress, depleted nutrition, access, toxins, then they're born weak and not capable of being on guard. But so it's whatever your body needs at that time is what they will become. And so, so it's really important for the person to take care of this body. And that we're going to talk a little bit more about that in a little bit more detail, because then it will determine the function and how well this cell functions.
Okay, so I'm going to just summarize this in 2 sentences. And if you agree with me, Tom and Madhya, just put up your hands and do this. So we have a chance to rebuild our immune system, number 1. Number 2, at any stage and any age, where we could be ill, we could be sick, but we have the opportunity every day to build a strong immune system by altering our lifestyle. Is that it? Okay, great. Madhya, do you agree?
Absolutely. So much hope.
Okay, so I'm just going to change tracks now. And so grandmother said, go play in the sand. Mother said, wash your hands, don't step into the dirt, stay clean. Who was right, grandmother or mother? Tom?
Both. We need to be, if you want a strong immune system, it's like if you want a strong arm muscle, you have to exercise the muscle. and then the muscle will get stronger. You have to exercise the immune system. So children should be playing outside. But of course, not in filth, not in just terrible wasted environments, but playing in outside in the dirt, in the sand, getting their hands dirty. But the idea is just a little bit of exposure gets inside the body. It's on the outside. So when it's time to come home, wash your hands before you eat, so that the dirt that's on your hands, you're not going to eat the dirt. So both mother and grandmother are correct.
Absolutely.
Maria, related to that, should we just expose our children and be done with the disease so that they build up their immunity before they're 10? Or is that too radical a thought?
So the virus that we're dealing with right now, is that the one?
No.
Or just any disease?
So that's one example. Yeah, measles, typhoid, all of that.
So that may be a little bit too much, but the thing is, again, we are exposed to all of these pathogens on a daily basis, and it's that slow, building, and it takes time to build this immune system, even though there's so much we can do. And so to give the child actually just, instead of exposing them, what I would try just to work on building that immune system by all of these things that we talked about, like really optimizing their digestive health, their detoxification, their stress, their sleep, their stress management, their social health, their spiritual health. And so then we can we put them in an environment not of disease, but of health.
Mala?
Yes.
Here's an example that just shocked me. When I read this study, I was surprised. Children who are raised in homes that do not have an automatic dishwasher, meaning the mother and the father and the family is washing dishes by hand. But children that do not have automatic dishwashers, they have 34% less asthma, less allergies, less eczema, skin problems, 34% in homes that do not have dishwashers. Why? Because when you wash your dishes by hand and your fork and your spoon, sometimes there's a little bit of crud on the fork, that didn't get washed off. Next time the child eats with that fork, they get a little bit of crud. And it exercises their immune system to make them stronger. So they found 34% less asthma, less allergies, less eczema in those homes. So that helps you to understand a little bit of exercise of your immune system. Go outside and play is a good thing for children.
That's a great example, Tom, because the way I would summarize it for the audience is, don't over cocoon, don't over sanitize. I think keep it as natural. And if I may say, I know both of you are out of the United States, all three of you actually, that our whole over sanitization society is particularly rampant in the United States, which I have reason to believe could perhaps be one of the factors that had COVID spreading in such a huge way across the U.S. We have studies and we have data to show that some of the slum areas in India, for example, which were expected to be affected much more, have not been affected actually, because the exposure there is so much more. So we can't live on an island. Tom, you can, but the rest of us have to lead normal lives. What are the factors that we cannot control? Let's just talk about that. So you have pollution, you have 5G, you have radiation, you have chemical, you have pesticides. You have all of this that you live with. We can't control that. Most of us normal people cannot control that. how big are these factors in our overall sort of makeup? If we cannot control it, is that, I mean, are we doomed forever? Or is that just a very small part?
That's a very good question. That's a very good question. What we know is that many diseases are becoming more common. Alzheimer's is becoming more common. Autism, early in life, brain problems for children are becoming more common. Diabetes is becoming more common. We know that some diseases are going up. So we cannot ignore that the toxins of the environment that you're talking about, the 5G, all of the commercial food that's not very healthy, all of the things that we're exposed to are accumulative. And our bodies are overwhelmed by so many threats coming in. And there's no easy answer to that problem. But what we can do is where we do have control over the food that we choose to eat, our home environment, the peace in our home. Is it calm in our home or is it always crazy? NASA, the space agency in the US, they published a study that two 6-inch plants, two 6-inch house plants in a room absorb over 70% of the toxins in the air. Now, you cannot control the air that is in your environment, but you can get an air filter inside your home if you can afford one. But little house plants will absorb the toxins, so your home environment is safer for you. Right now, the best that we can do to teach people is to create a healthier environment inside your home. That means inside your body, the food that you choose to eat, healthier foods, inside the rooms of your home, healthier air, inside the relationship with your family, healthier relationships, not so much stress, by practicing the exercises that Yogi Ji represents with yoga and meditation, healthier environment for family interactions. All of those things we can do that will minimize the threat of the toxicity of the outside world.
So most women will love this. One of the plants that Dr. Tom is talking about is called mother-in-law's tongue. So you might want to get that in addition.
Absolutely. I have one, for example, for me, I have one in every room of the house. So
yes. And the money plant, I believe, is also to be added to this list. It's interesting how this terminology comes about, because it encourages people to buy those plants and keep them in their homes. So that's another conversation. Tom, you might want to take this next one. So I have a newborn baby, and I think I can control him or her till the age of 15, maybe. What is it that you will do that's perfect to build a strong foundation? And I'm sure you're doing that right now, Tom. So I'm going to leave this.
Yes, we have a young baby. Yesterday was his 6-month birthday, 6 months. So this is very prevalent in our lives right now. So we are blessed that our baby can breastfeed. My wife is producing milk. So most important is the food that my wife eats. Most important, because the food that mother eats produces the breast milk that baby gets. And so the more healthy foods that mother eats, vegetables, we call it the rainbow diet. Many, many different colors of fruits and vegetables, because all of the colors are different vitamins and minerals, and they're called antioxidants and polyphenols. That's a fancy name. But what it means, it strengthens the immune system. It strengthens the heart. It gives the raw material for the brain cells to be produced. So food is a very important first step. What foods you select for a baby. The second step is the environment. If you're playing loud music, rock music, or if baby's startled all the time because people are slamming doors, or the television's on, and baby is hypnotized by the television, those are all things that interrupt the healthy development of a baby's brain and nervous system. So you want a peaceful home. We play Mozart music all day, every day. And there are many different free things that you can get online, free music, baby Mozart, things like that. There's no charge. And you just play, and we play that music when our son is sleeping. So he goes to sleep listening to little music. In case there's noise outside, it doesn't wake him up, but it's soft music in the background. So the more the environment that you create for baby, the healthier and stronger baby develops.
Fabulous. So we went, we all love to sin, do things which are not great for our immune system. So we have the big pizza meal, we went out drinking, we slept 2 hours, we partied all weekend. How much does this set you back? And can you cheat? Or is it just, live the pure life, eat your fruits and vegetables, exercise, de-stress, all of those things that all of you are suggesting, and I will come to you, Yogi Ji, in a minute. All of those things that you're suggesting. Okay, I'm doing them, I'm a good girl. How often can I cheat?
Cheat. Like 80-20 rule. In my house, I like to follow the 80-20 rule. So 80% really, really good, and 20%, cheat. But the thing is, when I even cheat, it's still on healthier options. And so I will not, in my house, we don't cheat on fake food. We'll cheat on good, better food, like real food. Like I'll have some cassava flour pancakes or cassava flour chips or whatever it is. But it'll be like, that's, real food that I'll cheat on. But so really trying to, because you got to make this doable and livable. And so, over the weekend was our, we had a celebratory weekend. So we had some fun foods, and wasn't able to exercise as best, but then I got back on board. So things like that you can, so like really trying to follow the 80-20 rule is where it works in my house.
Tom, confession time.
Confession time, yes. Well, as I'm getting older and my body gets a little bit weaker, my cheating is not as bad as it used to be. So when we cheat now, we cheat with coconut ice cream with chocolate on the outside of it. But it's coconut ice cream, because for me and my wife, regular ice cream from cow's milk causes congestion for us, right? So you learn, if you cheat and the next day you don't feel so good, you push too hard. You cannot cheat to the point where you notice you don't feel so good. If that happens, you push too hard, you made your body weaker.
Absolutely.
And so finding that balance where you can cheat a little bit and you still feel okay the next day, you're heading in the right direction.
So would you agree with the 80-20 rule?
I'm sorry.
I think sorry.
Would you agree with the 80-20 rule?
In our, let's see, I've never put a percentage to it. Maybe, yeah, okay, yeah.
But then
I might be 88-12. I don't know, but not so much cheating.
Yeah.
You are God.
And again,
Okay.
Mala, that's what's really important is to really start to understand and listen to the body. And I don't think we give that enough credit. And so even my children know that when their bodies are getting off balance. So for example, if they have a little bit more tiredness one day versus the other, they look at their lifestyles. They're like, okay, what did I do today or yesterday or the weeks prior to try to where I am, to make me feel where I am today. But so that's why really teaching and educating ourselves and our families to be mindful of our bodies. And that's where like that rule even will come. It's different for every person. For me, yeah, for us also, we're a little bit more, stricter, but for the average person, really trying to listen to their body, figuring out what works best for them. Just like what Dr. Tom said, if he has a little bit more dairy, he starts to get congested. I know I see that with my kids also.
So that's my next question, because this has always fascinated me, that you eat very clean, and suddenly you mess up and it affects you. However, if you eat, like most people do, average, it doesn't affect you as much. Is there a correlation, Tom?
Yes, of course. If you put bad gasoline into a Ferrari, it doesn't run very well. And so the healthier you get, the more your body feels stronger, the more you're driving your body like a Ferrari. And then you put cheap fuel in there, it doesn't run. And so you notice the difference. That's a good thing. It means you're getting healthier. Well, I used to drink Coca-Cola all the time. It wasn't a problem. Now I drink a Coca-Cola and I feel sick. Good. That's good. Well, I'm getting weaker. No, you're getting stronger. You're getting stronger. And when you put junk in there, your body says, what is this? I don't want junk in my body anymore. Yeah. And so that's the way to look at that.
Yep,
that's
absolutely.
An amazing explanation. I thank you for that, because this is something that you face all the time as questions. And you're right, people do ask this question saying, I used to eat this all the time and now I cannot. So one of the biggest factors that we talk about in a weakened immune system is stress. We say stress kills, we've heard it all the time, and yet we've filled our lives with stress. We are living competitively, we've strained relationships, we go after perfection, we chase money, we chase name, we chase fame. Yogi ji, you have an enviable lifestyle living in Kerala amidst relative peace. How do you break this cycle? Is the yogic life completely stress-free? Can you explain this to us in simple terms?
What should be the content? What should be the content?
Stress. I want to focus on stress. How does stress affect your immune system, and living the life the way you do in a very austere manner, is that the way to beat stress, or are there any other factors?
Stress is an inevitable experience of everyone, from the first breath to last breath. We have to live with that situation, this condition. But as we get educated by our mother is the first person who educates us to respond to the various situations. And if you can learn properly to respond various situations properly and build up the good resilience to the changing situation, then you can win this life very well. Many occasions, this is not the case. Unexpected eventualities, pose as a challenge. And our life situation, the external ecology as well as the internal ecology may not go in a harmonious state. It creates a lot of conflicts. In that condition, body body and mind both together respond in a different way. Many situations we are able to live through this such situation very comfortably. But as the system becomes weak, physically, functionally, and mentally, we become a victim to the various situations and conditions. And we develop various in a suffering condition, disturbed condition, diseased conditions. But in our ancient teaching, the mind is the main, the factor which play to decide our state of our existence. With the mind, our attitude, our perceptions, our feelings, experience are in a good state, we are good, always good. But many times our perceptions are different, our feelings, experience, all these things are different and create a disturbed or a blocked or suffering condition. Then our system won't be able to cope up that situation. Now, from home, from mother side, we learn many things, and the environment we learn many things, and our inherited qualities also help us to exercise our ability to overcome or face the challenges in every moment of life. So yoga gives another term that yukta ahara viharasya yukta cheshtasya karmasu yukta swapnava bhavadasya yogo bhavadi dukkha. So if you can adapt proper right food, not only the food we eat, but whatever things you perceive through all the sensory organs that goes to our system. And according to season, according to age, according to season, if you correct our food pattern and make it as an moderate, more pure and sattvic in nature, a balanced, nutritious food, viharasya, proper exercise, yukta chayu, proper entertainment, proper nature of entertainment, not drinking too much, smoking the drugs and all. No, abstain from all. Bring natural fruits, juices, and natural water. Avoid the caffeine, avoid the white sugars, all the whites, the maida, white flour, like that way. To avoid all those or minimize it. We cannot abstain totally, but we can minimize it. And also right time to sleep, right time to remain awake. And also to have a positive approach to our situation and to the people and the eventualities. So these things will help us to overcome all these challenges very nicely. For that, along with this, the mind is a key player. The mind can decide and disturb or create that quantum of changes. It can change, the changes can happen quickly. Changes can, bring to in a very systematic, in a balanced way. So we have to train the mind, tune the mind to ensure a harmonious rhythm in the functions of various systems in our body.
So Yogi
If our thought process is good, then everything is good. And thoughts to be properly tamed and tuned.
So just take off from what you just said, to train the mind, right? And there is obviously a link between meditation and immunity. How can you train the mind? How can you control the mind so that the food that you talked about, the environmental food, not the food that we eat, but the stimulus to our mind, that it can be purer? How can you train your mind to take in the right influences?
For these first things, we need we usually say, keep a company of good people. First thing, satsanga, the most important thing. If you are remaining with the good people, I think 70 to 80% of the problem is solved. And create an approach of detachment and less desires. These two things are very important. The desire is one of the cause for all the sufferings. So we should have a proper awareness, the awareness to accept various situations and to live the situation properly. The lacking of awareness is the main cause for all the sufferings. The yogic practice helps us to develop the awareness, the body awareness, we can say proprioceptive awareness, the awareness of the body coming from the body, not from the external, because we are always in communication with the external world, having so many stimulus, and it disturb the rhythm many times. So that what we can do, let us go back and communicate with ourselves to develop the proprioceptive awareness of our body's the structure and the functions, visceroceptive awareness, the awareness from the internal about the internal organs function, also vestibular awareness, the balanced conditions, a balanced state of our existence. So through this yogic practice, this awareness can be sharpened and improved. As we become aware about these concepts, mind comes to more balanced and sharp state with a less embodiment disturbances, and mind adopt a state of peacefulness, state of calmness, state of clarity in the perceptions from external as well as internal perceptions. And mind goes to a state of peacefulness, a state of pleasant, in a cheerful condition, in an ease condition. And as soon as we go inside, we are getting connected with ourselves, and our pure nature is pure and divine. And as soon as we communicate with our own self, we come to a state of a divine being, a cheerful being, and calm, quiet, balanced state of our existence. So in these conditions, often we try and establish the disturbances or distraction or conflicts can be minimized, so that a holistic nature of a harmonious state of our various functions in the body brings to more in a balanced state, and it will stimulate instead of suppressing the stress will suppress our immune systems. And as this immune system gets suppressed, we become vulnerable to develop various diseases. Not only the infectious diseases, also lifestyle diseases. And psychophysiological disturbed conditions. But what we can do is best, every now and then, come and communicate with our own self through a process of becoming aware about our own breathing. Breathing is an essential factor of our existence. The moment we communicate to our breathing, the life cycle come to a balanced state, in a peaceful state, very pure state. As one of Dr. Saida was telling, every moment, our bone marrow is, bombarding, bringing the big changes. And we are able to stimulate our bone marrow very well to develop and create and formulate the best immune cells which can protect us from the various disturbed and disease condition and always ensure a robust health.
Yogi ji, you talked about breathing, right? Would it be possible for you, out of so many different exercises that you know and you teach and you have talked about, if there's one breathing exercise, only one breathing exercise that I can do, I don't have time for anything else, which one would you recommend? And can you just do a short demonstration of that?
Yes. First thing is that we have to take out that exercise term. We don't exercise. Exercise means we are going out, X coming out. But here is the process of going in. So it's a practice, breathing practice.
Yes.
We are not
Yes.
working with a motor activity. We are working with more on sensory activities to get this knowledge. And this knowledge from inside, not from outside, because we are trying to put a break to all the 5 sense organs and 5 motor organs while working with our breathing. All the sensor organs, 5 sensory organs, ear, nose, throat, tongue, eyes, and skin, come to a total silence. We are not perceiving anything from the world. We are not doing anything because these are our neural impulses going to the brain. And we are also not doing anything with the hands and legs or genital organs or the excretory organs or speech centers. But we are only working with the breathing happening always without our attention. These are autonomic functions. So if you want to work with this more with autoimmune diseases, and if you work with this respiratory breathing function, it can help us to harmonize very easily. But many times this breathing pattern gets disturbed and blocked and vitiated. By doing a certain systematic breathing practice, we can re-establish this breathing rhythm, which has got a tremendous influence on the various functions in our body, not only in the body, in the mind.
So one breathing
practice. So we can do very simple practice, because in a grosser level, the breathing practice manifests in the body in terms of expansion, retraction. In subtler level, we can feel the touch sensation of the incoming and outgoing breath help us to go deeper inside in the brain centers. So we can work, either we can work with the grosser level or we can work with the subtler level. But easy to start with the grosser level, keeping your both hands on the abdomen.
His screen has frozen.
Yeah. Yogi ji, we can't hear you anymore.
So, Malam, may I say something to this?
Yes, yes, please.
I have found, as Yogi ji was saying, and I've heard of this breathing exercise before, when I am aware of feeling the air coming in my nose and then feeling the air coming out my nose when I breathe out, I can't think about crazy stuff anymore. That I'm here in the moment. I'm feeling the air in, feeling the air out. It centers me right away. So Yogi ji started to refer to that, and it reminded me to do that again in my life. I forgot about that one. It's these little exercises that we find that we can do on a regular basis that build up our strength, our inner strength.
Right. I think we've lost the connection with Yogi Ji. I guess somebody is trying to repair that. But meanwhile, maybe we can talk of some of the other aspects. Madia, you had a very interesting slide which sort of condensed all the factors influencing your immune system in one place. So maybe you'd like to share that and we can then talk a bit further.
Absolutely. So, I mean, again, there's so many different pieces in our lifestyle that we can focus on to optimize our immune system and improve our overall health. And this slide does go through a lot of those. You know, we talked about eating the rainbow. Dr. Tom talked about eating the rainbow. Lots of vegetables, some sort of clean protein, healthy fats is really, really important. And then, you know, lowering the overall, like, too much toxins in the environment by putting like indoor plants, not cooking on Teflon, you know, making sure that you're cooking on like either cast iron, ceramics, stainless steel, even switching those all up, different things like that, you know, removing all the chemicals in the house that we don't need. That can really improve our immune system. Making sure that you're getting sunlight and nature is really, really powerful to optimizing the immune system. And making sure we're drinking enough water, and then making sure we're sleeping on a regular basis. And because while we sleep, we actually can regenerate our immune system just while we sleep. And the other really big piece of this puzzle, again, is just now going back to what Yogi Ji was talking about. It's our perspective, or the food that we're feeding our minds. And I know we're living in a world of negativity, so this positivity is really important, because right now, subconsciously, the world around us is telling us that we're not good enough, that we're not doing this good enough, we're not doing this well enough, we're not doing this good enough. Oh my gosh, you know, what's going on in the world? It's just like the news is mostly negative. And so consciously creating your subconscious to be more positive instead of more negative, and feeding our brains gratitude and positivity on a daily basis is really, really important. And then the other one, especially, I mean, even intermittent fasting is important. So not to be eating, you can have some clear drinks. That fasting is, again, one of those really powerful things we can incorporate into our daily lifestyles to optimize our immune system. So there's so many things that we can do to help our overall health. So it's a lot of power, so much we can do.
Okay, so one of the questions that often comes up in all our interactions is, does gender influence immunity, Tom?
Yes, it does. Many of the chemicals that we are exposed to in our environment that we don't have control over, many of these toxic chemicals, they're called endocrine disruptors, meaning they disrupt how the hormones work in our body, and mostly the female hormones. Also some of the male hormones, but mostly the female hormones. So, and women have more female hormones, and more, their cells need more of those hormones, but the chemicals that we're exposed to they fool the body into thinking that we have more hormone than we do. That these chemicals, when they get in our body, they act like hormones in many ways, and there's a term for them that came up about, I think it was about 12, 14 years ago. Many of these chemicals are called obesogens, meaning when you get a lot of these chemicals in your body, they swell your fat cells, and people get more weight and they get obese. And that's a strong contributor to why especially women, some men, but especially women, are carrying extra weight and they don't eat bad food. And they're trying to count calories, or they're trying to not eat so much, but they still have this extra weight. It's the chemicals that they're exposed to. So women are more affected by these chemicals in general than men are.
So we're almost up to, we're up to 1 hour. I'm sorry we lost the Yogi Ji. Obviously, there's a connection problem. So some of the questions that one had for him, one will have to skip for another day. Mercifully, we have 5 more episodes to go. But before we leave, Madiha, you're asked always, if you could take this to an island, what would you take? I'm saying if there are only 2 things that you could do for building a great immune system within your own body, only 2 things, what would be the top 2 things that you would definitely do?
Top 2 things. I think one, starting with gratitude. For me, gratitude is huge. And to help me lower that overall stress, and eat real food. Those are the 2 pieces of that I would do.
Tom?
2 things. The first, I grew up with a term in America, practice makes perfect. That made me think I always have to be perfect. A more accurate term is practice makes progress. So you want to build a stronger immune system, you have to practice, and you will progress little by little. So that's the first thing. And by practice, I mean there's so much to learn. You can't learn it in 1 hour. But every time you learn and implement one thing, you're making progress. You're making progress. And the other thing, first, practice makes progress. When you have a health condition that you're not happy with, your health is going down like this, a boulder going downhill. Nobody can turn a boulder around to go like this. What you have to do is taper that boulder, slow it down, and then it starts going back up to health again. You start going uphill. That's why practice makes progress. Every little thing you learn helps to slow down the degeneration and heads you more into regeneration. So have patience, be kind to yourself, and you will win the ball game.
Thank you. That's a great note to end on. And I just want to mention that we have 5 other episodes, which Jane Lynn will announce shortly. I think there's great stuff that has come out of our discussion. The top for me, Madiha, thank you for that gratitude comment, because we have much to be grateful for, difficult as it seems in these times. And we often forget to thank the world, to thank our families, and to thank God for who we are and what we are. So thank you both very, very much. And Jane Lynn, we can take this straight on to audience questions.
Thank you very much. This was fabulous. I do have a few questions. So we'll start with Dr. Madiha. Someone asks, I have MS. What should I do for my horrible immunity?
So, I mean, when you have a chronic health condition, we know you have a problem with your immune system. So I have people start off with, your digestive health and detoxification, the 4 S's of stress, sleep, social, and spiritual health. And again, just what Dr. Tom says, take it one step at a time. Anything that you learn, start to slowly implement so we can optimize our health and stop that boulder from coming down. I love that analogy. And so starting with, eating real foods, getting rid of some of the gluten, the dairy, the sugar, the processed foods, the junk foods. And then really focusing on real foods like tons of vegetables, clean protein, healthy fats, bone broth to help you heal and seal that gut lining. And then making sure that you, lower the toxins in your environment, focus on stress management, because stress leads to 80% of the complaints that come to primary care physicians. Optimize sleep, making sure that we're getting to bed on time and prioritizing our sleep, and keeping the people around you that are going to love you, not pull you down. So make the social health and then spiritual health, making sure that we're the meditation, the yoga, the gratitude, and just incorporate every day. Just start with one little thing. And if you can't do anything right now, if it's too exhausting to do anything, start with the gratitude. And just add one thing at a time. One slow step in the right direction is better than no steps in the right direction. So anything that we can do, there's so much. And I think we're going to have somebody on the series that actually has reversed her MS. And so stay tuned to that one, because she has used food to reverse her MS. So there's so much that we can do. Just take it one step at a time.
Thank you so much, Dr. Medea, and for mentioning, yes, on July 20th, please join us. We have Dr. Terry Walls who will be joining us. She was in a wheelchair and cured herself from MS. So she'll be sharing how she did that. So thank you, too, for answering that question today. And Dr. Tom, what are the top foods to rejuvenate our immune system?
Prior to answering that, I'd like to just comment on what Dr. Saeed said, that her answer for MS is the same answer for rheumatoid arthritis, is the same answer for psoriasis, is the same answer for Alzheimer's, is the same answer for diabetes, meaning all of those things that you have to learn that set you up for the disease you got. So there's no magic pill that ever is going to stop this. There is no magic pill. But practice makes progress. As you learn about this thing and you start implementing in your life, and then you learn about this thing and you start implementing in your life, and you learn about this thing and you start implementing in your life, 6 months from now, you're a different person. Your body is different. So when you have a health condition that you are concerned about, understand practice makes progress and that there's much to learn. Now, about the foods. The rainbow diet. The colors of the rainbow are critically important because they contain a lot of polyphenols. And that's the geek term for the nutrients in foods that support your immune system. Very, very important. Also critically important to strengthen your immune system is enough vitamin D. And that usually the food sources of vitamin D are limited. There's not that much. So getting 15 minutes of sun, direct sun a day, in the middle of the day when the sun is, as long as the temperature is not too hot, as long as it's safe to be outside, but 15 minutes a day so that you don't get red. That's too much sun if you got red, but just a little bit every day can help you make enough vitamin D. Critically important when you want to strengthen your immune system. So the rainbow diet and healthy fats, as Dr. Saeed said, which is from oily fish, avocado, some nuts perhaps, olives, healthy fats, and the rainbow diet.
Wonderful. Thank you. And Dr. Medea, I think you've answered this, but if you have anything further you'd like to say, how important is sleep in the immunity story to help us rejuvenate our immune system?
So important. Super important. basically, if you're not sleeping, then your immune system is probably shot. Let's just keep it that. I mean, studies have shown that the lack of sleep can actually increase the viral illnesses that you get. So it's really important because while you sleep, you can build hormones, you optimize the immune system, you lower inflammation. You are basically your body, even garbage disposals, the things that needs to be get rid of, out of your body. Even for your brain, there's an actual specific process that occurs, and it sort of cleans out the junk in your brain while you sleep. So there's so much stuff that we can do to optimize our overall wellness. But starting sleep is super important. I mean, literally, we can heal in our sleep. Like, that's awesome.
Thank you so much. And I do see that Yogi Ji has been trying to join us again, and we thank him for doing that. As we wrap up, I wanted to just thank everyone. This has been amazing. And we did have a comment or several comments from our viewers saying thank you. This has been so educational and informative, and they're looking forward to upcoming episodes in the series. So again, thank you, Mala, Dr. Tom, Dr. Saeed, and Yogi Ji. Thank all of you for being here today.
Thank you.
Thank you so very much. It's really a pleasure to be here with you. Thank you so much.
Yes, this is so much fun. Awesome.
It really has been incredible and educational. So thank you for sharing such important knowledge and tools that we can use today to create and support a healthy immune system. And thank you also for the recipes that we can download from the resource box. And to all of you, thank you for joining us. We look forward to returning next week on July 13th for part 2 of this 6-part educational program, Global Healing Approaches to Support Your Immune System. And our expert panel will be discussing the benefits of homeopathy. Hello there. The benefits of homeopathy, Ayurveda, and naturopathy, and how using these 3 therapies can help build your immune system. And as a reminder to our viewers, you can connect with our experts in the Know We Well community, as well as find more educational webinars and resources. Also, tomorrow you'll receive an email with a link to the recording of this webinar. So if you want to come back and listen, if you forgot some of the important information, don't worry, you can see the recording. And finally, when the webinar ends, you'll be prompted to complete a short survey, and your feedback is so important to us so that we can ensure we're bringing you the content and the speakers that make a difference to you in your healing journey. So thank you for taking a few moments to fill that out for us. Thank you again, and take care, and we hope to see you again very soon. Be well.
Bye-bye.
Bye.
Bye.
Bye.